You good?
Yeah, I'm also on your eye level now. You're not like looking down at me.
I never felt like I was looking down at you.
Well, I did. So I can like slightly turn and also look at you.
Okay. Well, new chair. Who this?
New chair, who it is?
That's great for you. I love that for you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to That's Hard Golf with AC and who is this?
Britt,
That's it.
Britt.
Um, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to be back. This is episode. I'm sorry. This is hole 4.
Yep.
This is hole 4. So getting close to halfway through the front 9 here. Um, I'm excited for some of the things that we're going to discuss today. Actually, I have no idea what we're going to discuss today. I have a few things on the docket, but other than that, we're going to just see where things take us. But I am excited because this week, and possibly with this episode, we will release our 9 holes together because we did go out and play 9 last week. Did you forget?
Oh yeah.
I think you forgot.
And I swallowed
We
out.
did play 9. So I think it's good for people to, first of all, if you haven't played, just to get some exposure to, first of all, just how, I don't know, for lack of a better term, lighthearted it is just to go play golf. Like it doesn't have to be this intimidating thing. You can just go out there. You don't got to be dressed to the nines. You can just go out there and play, and play. And I will say that last week we talked about some etiquette things. So there's a few things that we missed, so that I'll touch on, and then we'll talk a little bit about golf clubs today. A couple pieces from professional golf that I want to touch on, and then of course our relationship segment. Another new thing that I want to touch on in terms of our YouTube channel is that, of course, we do our full episodes with those 3 topics, but I am going to begin to not only release the full episode, but release the segments of our episode. So just release the new golfer segment as its own video, the pro segment as its own video, and then the marriage segment as its own video, just in case there's anybody who, maybe just wants to see a particular segment, maybe not watch the full episode. That'll be available for you at the time of new episode release. So I definitely want to give a heads up on that. So just when you go to our channel, take a look at our playlist, and it will be segmented appropriately, as I think that will be helpful. That will be helpful from a titling perspective and being sure that you can get to the content that you want to see, and not be wasting time listening to me babble about stuff you don't care about,
Right.
So,
Like I do.
oh, what part do you do?
All of it. Listen to you babble all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't enjoy that? We don't care. Let's keep it. Did that offend you?
A little.
Damn, that was the point. Let's jump right into the new golfer segment. Like I said last week, we touched on etiquette, but babe, we missed some stuff.
What did we miss?
We missed some stuff, and we actually touched on this in our 9 holes, and one big one on the putting green, walking in people's lines. Walking in
Yeah.
people's lines. So, when everybody is playing and we all reach the green, typically you'll mark your ball. This means that if my ball is on the green, I'll put a marker down behind my ball and then pick my ball up. This is until I'm ready to put. There's a multitude of markers you can use. They sell ball markers. Some are very customized. They could be your favorite sports team. They could be golf course related. Sometimes you could just find a little blank one, and it's literally just a little circle that you put on the ground. Some people use a T. So when I'm missing my ball marker, I'll use a T. But when you're marking your ball, it's very important that as you walk around the green, you are very cognizant of where everybody's ball or ball marker is, because the line between their ball and the hole, you don't want to step on that line. And this may be kind of hard to explain, so maybe I have to throw up a visual up.
Yeah.
But you do not want to step on their line. You want to be very courteous. So most of the time people will just walk around the line. And if you have to, you'll step over it. But, I think it's always best practice to walk around the line. The reason this is done is because, going back to, I talked about this last week, the green is very sensitive. So, back in the day, it was more prevalent because everybody had metal spike shoes. And when you walked on the green, it would put these heavy indentures on the green. And you don't want your indentures to maybe mess up somebody's ball rolling. Like, you don't want it to mess up the roll as it's making its way to the hole. I will say nowadays, not too many people wear metal spikes. Either they're wearing soft spikes or no spikes. There's a lot of spikeless shoes. So less effect on the green today. Personally, I don't care if you walk on my line. Like, I don't think it's gonna affect my putt. I care like from a respect like thing. Like I want you to at least acknowledge. Like let me tell you it's okay to walk on my line.
Yeah.
Like don't just do it. But some people will definitely get upset about that. Like that's like one of those basic etiquette rules where if you walk into people's line, it's clear you do not play this game. And I had to learn that. I mean, I was definitely walking in a lot of folks' line when I first started playing, but I had to learn, and Brittany still ain't learned because she was just walking all in my line.
I did.
When we played 9, so be better.
I'll
Be
do better.
There was one more thing that we actually had a viewer leave a comment on the last video reminding me, but I forgot, so I gotta look at it. Yeah, so not only was the walking in the line a good one, but also just a note about practice swings. So when you're playing, very normal to take a practice swing. Just kind of understanding the swing that you're about to do, maybe just trying to gauge maybe how hard you're going to swing or how far back you're going to bring the club. But going back to the importance of pace, you want to be very cognizant that you're not overdoing the practice swings. I will say general rule of thumb is two practice swings. Once you get to 3, people like, all right now. And if you do more than 3, I'm gonna be like, bro, like what's up? Like you're taking too long. This process is going longer than it should. For anybody who knew, like more than 3 is not gonna help you. Like it is not. Like if you ain't feeling good after 3, like bro, like yeah, just like please just step up to the ball and just swing it. People got different thoughts on practice swings. Some people don't take any practice swings. For me, it depends on how I'm playing. If I'm like dialed in, I won't take a practice swing. Like if I just feel very comfortable with the swing. If I've maybe had a couple off swings, I'm definitely gonna take 1 or 2. But I try not to take 2 or more than 2. The only time I might take 3 is if like that second one just felt horrible, and I'm like, nah, I gotta get 1 more. But still, very rare. And I'm an experienced golfer.
Yeah, I was gonna say for beginners.
Yeah, for beginners, yeah, it's like 2 at most. 2 at most. And I will also say at least 1. If you're a beginner, you probably want at least 1 practice swing, just to get comfortable. Just to get comfortable because you haven't been playing enough for you to get that appropriate like memory, whether it be muscle memory or just like the brain memory of making an appropriate swing. So definitely be cognizant of that. I mean, it's all about pace. Just keep appropriate pace. If you're taking too long, pick up. So yeah, that's the only things that I wanted to touch on from etiquette. Anything else you may have thought of that we missed? I can't remember if something we thought about in our 9 holes or not.
I can't believe we missed the walking in the line.
That's crazy. Yeah. Can't believe we missed that.
Yeah. I think that's it though.
Yeah. Hey, but I got some compliments on you. When I just threw it to you and you just threw off some etiquette things. Like I got some people that was like, wow, like like Brittany knew what she was talking about.
I do what I can. That's all I can do.
Thank you. I mean, you are just such a great contributor to this show. I mean, like your insight and your input is amazing. Like, wow.
Anytime I can be helpful.
Thank you. I mean, what would I do? Like, what would I do without you?
You're
adding
don't
so
know.
much. You are really adding so much
to
the show. But thank you. So let's get into and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do want to talk about golf clubs because we've talked about buying clubs and, maybe the type of clubs to get. But I just wanted to run through like all these clubs because I don't know another sport that requires so many tools to play. Like I just can't think of another one. Maybe like football when I think about like all the pads, but golf is very unique that it requires all these tools for it to be appropriate, necessary to play. First things first, you can only, let me ask you, how many golf clubs are you legally allowed to have in your bag when you're playing? Like per the USGA rules, how many golf clubs can you have in your bag? Like what is the max number?
10?
No, you need to go up.
12.
It's 14.
I couldn't even list you 14 clubs.
It is 14. That is the most you could.
Yeah, I could.
That is the most you're actually allowed to have in your bag. 14 clubs. So there's definitely something to be, cognizant of because I think some people just like, hey, I just buy a new club, just throw it in the bag. Like, please understand that if you have 15 clubs, I mean, technically, if you're just playing by yourself, I mean, I guess you could do whatever you want to do. But per the rules, you're only supposed to have 14, which typically leads to you maybe having to make some decisions about what clubs you're gonna keep. For
How many
anybody who experienced, like,
how
it's
many
important.
clubs do you have in your bag?
In
Well,
this bag right
14.
here, yeah, 14, 14.
Could
I
you
got I got driver, 3 wood, 4 hybrid, 4 iron, 5 iron, 6 iron, 7 iron, 8 iron, 9 iron, pitch and wedge, 48-degree, 52-degree, 56-degree, and putter. That's 14. Um, so yeah, and in terms of your mix, obviously I just named mine, but people got a different uh, mix of clubs. But there are some pretty consistent clubs. That's what we're gonna talk about. But that just remind me, I told y'all about the 2024 Chat Classic coming up this weekend. We'll have a video covering that next week. Very excited for that. But as the commissioner of that event, I gotta check everybody back. Make sure everybody got 14 before somebody try to pull a fast one on me.
Okay.
But we can kind of start at the bottom. We'll start at the bottom. So, which is for me, I consider that the putter. So you gotta have a putter. Like, this is not up for debate. You must have a putter. When the ball is on the green, you need a putter. And I'll be putting a picture of every club. I will put my clubs, but that's too advertising, and they ain't paying me yet. So maybe in time. But a putter is required. I guess you don't have to use a putter when you're on the green, but I mean,
What are
come on.
you putting with?
I mean, you can putt with anything, I guess.
Why would
Like,
you
you
put
don't
with
have to.
anything other than a putter?
I'm with you. I agree with that. So, putter. Then you're probably gonna want. I know that damn train ain't finna start up. I know, bro. I feel bad for anybody who's moved to my neighborhood like in the past. I don't know, a couple years. Cause I feel like maybe the first year this train didn't even exist
Yeah.
and then never came through, and now that it be coming through at night, like late. Like, what is going on? So hopefully that train does not start up. But next, after the putter, you're probably gonna want some type of wedge. Now, this is where it's gonna vary. Now, just to explain, a wedge is pretty much a club that's designed to get the ball up in the air. That's number one. Like, it's designed to actually give. It's called loft. So the club typically has a higher loft, and it gets the ball up in the air. A lot of people use it for shorter shots and for chipping. So chipping is when you're right off the green and you're just trying to kind of put it on the green for it to roll out. And sometimes for pitching, which is what we would call a short shot, maybe like a 50-yard shot where you're just trying to get it up in the air and obviously don't have it travel too far. A lot of different wedges. A lot of confusion comes for new golfers because there are official terms for degree wedges. What that means is every club has a degree loft. Every club. But we typically don't refer to the clubs by their degree, and by that, it's like a 7-iron is a 7-iron, right? Like, we call it a 7-iron, but it
Right.
does have a degree. Like, it's probably 30 something degrees or something like that. But we don't call it a 30-degree iron. We call it a 7-iron.
Mm.
And when it comes to wedges, those are ones you see more often named by the degree, especially for experienced golfers. But for some people, we just call it a sand wedge, a lob wedge, a gap wedge. For like, I guess like just for ease, but for the most part, you can refer to it as a degree. If you are new to golf, just hang on with me here. This is the most complex part of it. Is going to get easier. I don't want to lose you. But a 60-degree wedge, this is like a high lofted wedge, will often be called a lob wedge. A 56-degree, that's what I use. That's what I would consider my sand wedge. I have a 52-degree. I would consider my gap wedge, which is supposed to be the gap between your sand wedge and your pitching wedge. But then I also got this 48-degree because I just got some weird gapping in my irons. Hold on. Stay with me. Brittany is falling asleep.
We're done.
I'm telling you, the wedges, that's the most like kind of weird part. Now I think as you get better, you love your wedges. Like once when I got my first 56-degree, I feel like that was like the changing point for me in golf because I finally felt like I had a club that could help me hit these 100-yard shots or 80-yard shots that I was struggling with my pitching wedge. But once we get through that, now we get into maybe the clubs that are going to be included in an iron set that you buy. So this will be your pitching wedge. Pitching wedge, will go. You got to understand that as the number goes down, the expected distance from the club goes up. So as the number goes down, the distance goes up. So after pitch and wedge, we got 9 iron, 8 iron, 7 iron. Now as the numbers going down, 9, 8, 7, the distance that I'm expecting from the club is going up. So my 7 iron should be going further than my 9 iron, and so on and so forth. So then we get down to 6 iron, and then if you remember last week, we talked about how your set of clubs doesn't have a 5 iron
Yeah.
or a 4 iron, because those irons, they get a little tougher to hit. That's when you start seeing people play a hybrid or a 5 wood or something like that. Well, a hybrid, as you can probably tell from the name, is supposed to be a mix of a wood and an iron. It's supposed to be easier to hit, especially like out of the rough and like tough spots, easier to hit than an iron. And then you get into your woods. So this is, obviously clubs that are typically hit off a tee. You can also hit them off the ground, and they go further. And then you have your big boy, the driver, which is currently covered by Dolph back here. And that's called a head cover, just to cover your clubs and protect it. But that's what you would typically use off the tee. You can hit a driver off the fairway if you want to. Extremely difficult to do. Most people don't do it unless there's just no hazards in a way. Then you might try it. But so that's pretty much your set. In terms of how you want to organize your set, that's up to you. First of all, Brittany, do you have any questions? I mean, as a new golfer, I mean, of course, we've discussed a lot, but even just based on what I've just broken down, like any questions on that?
No. I mean, the wedges, you got me. I have one wedge in my bag,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that is the pitching wedge.
Yeah.
And I'm just using it to chip,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about
Yeah.
it.
I mean, and you used it for, like 50-yard, 60-yard shots. You might still call that a chip, but
Yeah.
it's more of a pitch shot. But yeah. So I think when you first start playing, you really are not going to be using like every club in your bag. You're really just going to be happy to just hit anything.
Yes.
But once you start hitting the ball more consistently, then it's going to become more important, like that you're selecting the right club and mainly learning your distances. So learning how far you hit an 8 iron, because I might hit an 8 iron and my friend might hit an 8 iron. But first of all, our 8 irons may be different brands, so they may have different lofts. So that means they may be actually built different. And then secondly, I may just hit my 8 iron further, because maybe my 8 iron is a little more updated. Like mine could be from 2022, his could be from from 2000, where clubs didn't fly as far or the ball didn't fly as far. So you got to play your game. But yeah, that's clubs in a nutshell. Not too much there. No questions.
A lot.
It is a lot, but I mean, don't even worry about that. Just go out there and play. The most important thing to know is like that a 6 iron go further than a 9 iron. Like I think that's the most important thing to know. Like know that if it's a short distance, be thinking about hitting a wedge. If you 120 yards, 130 yards out, and you a new golfer, now you might want to be thinking 9, 8 iron. 7 iron. If you get the 150, 160, now you thinking 6, 5 iron. If you getting like in the 175 range, you probably want a wood. Now once you get better, that's gonna change. You'll be able to hit irons that long. So I hit a 6 iron, 180 yards. 5 iron, 190. 4 iron, 200 when I hit it. I don't hit it that often. I miss hit it quite often. So yeah. Okay. That's our new golfer segment. Go get those clubs. If you got questions, put them in the comments.
I think we should talk about other equipment needed, like next episode. Because people are like, how do you know what club to hit? You go by what your distance is.
Yeah.
But how do you know how far you can hit? You should go to the range, maybe get a range finder, and see how far it's gonna go.
Sure. To me, it's rangefinder is like for people who really play the sport. Like I ain't gonna lie. So when it comes to like learning how long, like go to the range, and typically there's like little signs that say 100 yards, 125. Like that's a good just gauge, like when you first starting. To me, rangefinder a little bit more advanced, like just to give some background. I just got my first rangefinder last year. that last year? Yeah, last
Yeah.
year. And I've been playing golf for a long time, so never had a rangefinder before that. So,
Okay.
but I'm with you though. Remember, you're
Well, you said know your game, and like you will ask me all the time, what club am I using? And I'm
yeah,
like, well, I'm using this because I think I can hit it,
right.
but I don't know really how far I can hit this club.
Yeah, but that's because you don't play.
That
If
yeah,
you played,
sure.
you would know.
I got
But
you.
you know, just know that your experience is a lot different from everybody else because you are married to a straight baller. Like, and that's just no cap. You know, like you're blessed in that way, and your expectations are like out the roof when you go play golf. Because Brittany is somebody who like if she don't get a par, she like, man, why do I play this sport?
For real.
You know, and I'm just like, bruh, you know, when you get to
Like, what are
come,
we doing?
when you get to go out there with me, it's just, you know, it hit different. The game hit different. Let me stop before I really get in my bag. Before I really get in my bag. But yeah, that's it. That's it. Let me know if you got any questions. Hit me up. Put in the comments. Thank you.